So Valentino Rossi in pole position for the third time this season. As I say, a Sepang winner in 2001, 2003 and 2004. Terrific support from the crowd for the world champion as he prepares for a very, very important 5 races. Earplugs in, but not quite in yet. Take on more fluid, that's very important indeed. Get that cool tie around your neck. Valentino Rossi. Big rival is Nikki Hayden.
I just went up to Alberto and interrupted him, obviously, Alberto Puig, because he's very busy with his protege, Danny Pedrosa, and I said, Alberto, a painkiller? And I held up 1 figure and he went more. I held up 2, he went more. I held up 3, he said more. So he's had at least 4 painkillers.
This is his teammate Nikki Hayden, Kentucky kid. What a season he's had on that Repsol Honda. 2 wins, very consistent, 25-point lead in the championship. It's crunch time for Nikki Hayden and Honda. He's got to hold firm. He's got to keep mentally strong. I'm sure he'll do that. And he's starting, very importantly, from the front row of the grid for this 21-lap race. Adjustments just being made to, I think, his drinks compartment in the back of his leathers. Trying to sort things out. He looks very calm, very relaxed. Nikki Hayden, as he has done throughout the weekend. Spoke to him yesterday and he said he was excited.
One I've got that's calm is Kenny Roberts Jr. on 4th position on the grid. Kenny, not a bad warm-up for you this morning after missing out on all that qualifying yesterday?
Well, yeah, qualifying. You know, I'm not a big fan of qualifying anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. I mean, first 3 rows are pretty much okay nowadays.
Happy with the new way you got the revised frame set up?
Well, yes and no. We're still struggling a bit out of the slow corners. Everything else seems to be pretty positive. So we got another one coming in Japan, and then you know, from there we're just trying to get it ready for the 800.
All right, mate. Leave you to it.
Okay.
Kenny Roberts Jr., winner here in the year 2009, also 1999, his first Grand Prix win. He's qualified 4th fastest. He's on the second row of the grid. What a season he has had, running for his father's Oxfordshire-based team in England. Honda Power, Michelin tyres, made a lot of difference. 33 now, Kenny, made his debut 93 in a 250cc race at Laguna Seca. 7th in the championship, and he's having a super season. 8 wins, 21 podiums, 10 poles. 2 of those wins actually coming here at Sepang. One of them when he won that world title in the year 2000.
From one American to another, championship leader Nikki Hayden. Just a slightly warm out here compared to yesterday, Nikki.
Yeah, it's toasty, but I mean, it's all good. I know it's going to make the tires critical, but you know, we got to try to get a good start here without frying the clutch. So that's a big thing here, this first turn 1.
Yeah, well, that's what happened. Last Checo's a long way away, but at least you got something decent in that 3rd session yesterday morning.
Yeah, we figured out some stuff, but we didn't figure out the clutch, so it's a bit of a worry. But definitely, we got the bike working yesterday afternoon a lot better. Team did a great job, and you know, I'm looking forward to the race. Hopefully, we got something for them. I know the pace is going to be tough, but you know, 21 laps, we need to get in there early and just keep fighting, try to hang on, and see what we got at the end.
Oh, well, hopefully it's your day, mate.
All right, thanks, brother.
Nikki Hayden, calm and collective. He's qualified 2nd fastest. He's on the front row of the grid for perhaps the most important race of his life. Sepang Gibernau back in action, looking good. 6th fastest, 2nd row of the grid, riding the Ducati. But Sepang Gibernau, what made his debut? 92. My God, a long, long time ago.
Now I've got Loris Capirossi with me as well. Loris, you must be pretty, even though you're 3rd on the grid, you must be pretty happy because you've been the most consistent all weekend in your times.
Yeah, well, I think we make a great job doing the practicing. We will see today. The weather is not too bad, a little bit too hot, a little bit more hotter compared to yesterday, but I am quite optimistic. We will see.
Well, after watching you in Checo last week and then Malaysia last year, you must be pretty confident.
Yeah, well, well, every year is different, every race is different, but I try to do my best.
All right, all the best.
Ciao.
Loris Capirossi talking to Mark there. Loris Capirossi, the winner of the race here last year, and of course, the man who won so convincingly at Brno 3 weeks ago. He's qualified 3rd fastest, and he starts from the front row of the grid. Randy de Prunier out-qualified his teammate Shinya Nakano on the Kawasaki. He's on the 3rd row of the grid. Randy de Prunier, 7th fastest, a time of 2:02.313. John Hopkins not happy about the decision not to have qualifying yesterday, riding that Rizzler Suzuki. John Hopkins has qualified 8th fastest, 2:02.453. But like his teammate Chris Vermeulen, felt there should have been qualifying somewhere. And there we go. I think everybody echoes those thoughts. Farewell to the crocodile hunter back there in Australia.
Well, I've got another Aussie with me at the moment, Chris Vermeulen. Chris, definitely not the place you want to be, but you weren't too happy with the way things went yesterday in qualifying when they disbanded.
Yeah, they just cancelled the session, and a few of the guys, a lot of the guys at the front used qualifying sessions, our tyres in the free practice, and we didn't. I was a little bit ill and just saving my energy for the afternoon, but the weather turned on us, and I got the short straw, but we've got a lot of work to do, but I really enjoy this circuit, and we'll see how we go.
How was warm-up for you this morning?
Warm-up was a lot better. I think we were about 11th or 12th fastest and a lot closer to the front guys, so we've made a few changes again to the bike and see how they work.
And how's the flu?
Bike feels good, you know, tyres, everything's working well, so it's just down to me now.
And your body after being sick?
A little bit tired, but it's 21 laps, it's going to be hard work, but it should be all right, I hope.
Mate, I bet that adrenaline will pump in, you won't feel a thing.
That's the plan anyway, we'll wait and see.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Braxy.
Chris Vermeulen, a bit of a head cold early on, but okay now. Casey Stoner for 4th of the grid, qualified 10th fastest, of course a winner of the 250cc race here last year. His lap time 2:02.790 for Casey Stoner, and he wants a good build-up, doesn't he? And he makes his MotoGP debut at Phillip Island in a week's time. Still only 20 years old. I think we forget that sometimes about Casey Stoner. That debut back in 01, British Grand Prix at Donington Park in the 125cc race. Great battles in the 250s last year, of course, with Danny Pedrosa. Made a real impression in MotoGP. Colin Edwards, tough time for Colin Edwards. But you know, he scored in every round for the last 33 races. Scored in the last 33 races. The only man to better that in the Premier class, Mick Doohan, who scored in 37 consecutive races. So a little bit of compensation for Colin Edwards, but he's down in the 4th row of the grid. The American former World Superbike champion has qualified 11th fastest on, of course, the Yamaha. His teammate to Valentino Rossi, who's on pole. Shinya Nakano, 12th fastest. Disappointing time for the man that won the 250cc race here way back in the year 2000. Out-qualified by his teammate Randy de Prunier. Hot property though, Shinya Nakano. A lot of rumours about his future. I think he's probably going to stay with Kawasaki. But 28 years old, debut in Japan in 1998. Runner-up in that World 250cc Championship in 2000 when he won the race here in Sepang. Very, very impressive indeed. Conditions, Mark, don't look too bad down there at the moment, and that's very important indeed.
I think we might be lucky, but every time I say something like that, it comes back to bite me. But track temperature is just nudging 50 degrees now, and it's a bit warmer than what it was at the start of the 250 race, and the humidity's rising as well. That's up around 70% at the moment. So we've got a few things that could say there will rain, but we've only got another 45, 50 minutes. If that can hold off, then we'll be right. But it is pretty warm down here, and guys with their fans down, that Alpine Star little fan they put down the back of the leathers, working overtime trying to cool things down.
Yeah, pretty hot conditions, as we say, down there. And it's a very, very difficult situation for everybody. But it's the same for everybody. At least the rain has stayed away. That horrendous rain that we saw, of course, yesterday afternoon that caused the cancellation of both the 250 and the MotoGP qualifying. And Kodo Tamada, we see, sorry, is qualified 13th fastest.
I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on the Michelin
Please do.
tyre choice. Everybody is on medium fronts, and everybody is on medium rears except for Rossi, who's gone from medium hard. So we'll see how much that plays into the cards later on and during this 21-lap race.
Okay, and I think I've got the Bridgestone selection here. I don't know if you've got that with you yet, Mark.
No, I haven't got that one. They seem to look after you. I'm Michelin.
Well, that's what
me.
they bring the lunch up with it as well. So you know they have to do that. Right front, Loris Capirossi, a medium front and a medium rear. Sete Gibernau, a hard front and a medium rear. Randy de Prunier, a medium front and a medium rear. Shinya Nakano, medium front and soft rear. John Hopkins, a hard front and medium rear. Chris Vermeulen, a hard front and a medium rear. So there we are, that's the front row of the grid with 3 minutes to go. Nikki Hayden second fastest, Loris Capirossi third fastest. But the man in pole position, it's the world champion, Valentino Rossi.
There it is, that famous siren. Not long to go now, Nick.
Nikki Hayden held the circuit lap record 2:02.993. That's been absolutely decimated by Valentino Rossi, using a qualifying tyre in practice. 2:00.605 for the world champion. But Nikki Hayden alongside him on the front row of the grid, accompanied by Loris Capirossi. Second row, Kenny Roberts Jr., Danny Pedrosa riding with that nasty, nasty hole in his right knee. And Sete Gibernau returning after injury. Randy De Punier, John Hopkins and Marco Melandri complete the third row of the grid. Casey Stoner, Colin Edwards and Shinya Nakano, the fourth row of the grid. Row 5, Makoto Tamada, Tony Elias and Carlos Checa. Checa, a very good record here at Sepang, 3 podium finishes. Chris Vermeulen, Alex Hoffman and James Ellison, row 6. Cardoso, the lone man, on row 7, riding that Dante Ducati. The stage is set. It's a super circuit. Conditions are good. It's the showdown for the 2006 MotoGP World Championship. It's round 13. The tension is all around us. Warm-up lap towards turn 1. There should be some fun and games there. Not an easy turn for the MotoGP machines. And then they can open their legs, get those throttles open and accelerate away. It's a really good crowd here this afternoon, 43,182. Quite easily the best crowd we've had for the Malaysian Motorcycle Grand Prix. Very encouraging for people who put a lot of work into this Grand Prix, and of course people who have built this magnificent Sepang circuit.
Should say while he's got a chance to, besides Danny Pedrosa's hole in his right knee, he's got 2 broken bones in his left foot, which is hindering his gear change as well.
Very, very tough time for Danny Pedrosa. That bad looking accident you saw on the onboard earlier when he went low side, then high siding him over the top. Really, one would imagine has ruined any chance he had of winning the MotoGP World Championship. His time will come though. A long, long time to go for Danny Pedrosa. We ride with Loris Capirossi, winner of the race here last year, and of course the man who absolutely decimated the opposition 3 weeks ago at the Czech Republic Grand Prix of that magnificent Brno circuit. And this part of the circuit yesterday was flooded, I can assure you. The rain was just pouring down on it. They were trying to build new drains, trying to dig new drains in that grass just there, trying to get some of the water to flow away. There was a tropical downstorm, monsoon proportions, and in the end, after 2 hours, although the rain had stopped, it was impossible for qualifying to take place. We ride with Valentino Rossi, 38 points. The Doctor trails Nikki Hayden in the World Championship. Will it be more or will it be less after this afternoon's 21-lap encounter around Sepang? The grid forms up. 5 races to go. This weekend here in Malaysia, 1 week's time at Phillip Island in Australia, 2 weeks' time Motegi in Japan, and then Estoril in Portugal, Valencia in Spain, and the 2006 MotoGP World Champion will be crowned. Will it be Nikki Hayden, Valentino Rossi, Danny Pedrosa, Loris Capirossi, Marco Melandri? This race, which is about to start, will have a massive bearing on the outcome. The red light is on. They are off. Looks like a good start by Rossi. Not a bad start by Nikki Hayden. Not the best of starts. It looks like Loris Capirossi on the Ducati is going to lead the way. Capirossi leads the way into turn 1. with Nikki Hayden perhaps going up into the lead. Nikki Hayden has taken the lead on the Honda. So Hayden meaning business. Rossi being forced a little bit wide, but in third place. Great start by Hayden. And Rossi now up the inside of Loris Capirossi. He doesn't want Hayden to get away at the front. Rossi second, Hayden leads away where he needs to be. Now they open the throttles of those booming 990cc machines. It's Pedrosa, I'm sorry, that leads away. Oh, Rossi's taken the lead. Danny Pedrosa, injured leg or not, from second place, has made the start. Nikki Hayden is down in fifth place, and Danny Pedrosa led. It's Valentino Rossi that leads. Rossi has got away at the front. This is very important that they don't let him escape. Pedrosa riding with all those painkillers and that injured right knee. I couldn't believe it could be him. So injured. What a start from the second row of the grid. Rossi leads, Pedrosa second. Capirossi in third place.
Capirossi in the box seat too at the moment, just sitting there, and they'll be determined to get past Danny Pedrosa, because as we see that Melandri isn't coming up the inside earlier.
Marco Melandri trying to get up the inside there. We just get a glimpse there of Casey Stoner. This is a little bit further down the field. My God, it's fast and furious in there. That was Sete Gibino. MotoGP at his best, but Rossi leads where he wants to be. Oh, somebody's gone off into the gravel. It looked like he could have been one of the Suzuki's. Pedrosa's still in second place. Valentino Rossi still leads the way. Oh, it's one of the Ducati, one of the Kawasaki's, and it's Shinya Nakano. Shinya Nakano out of the race, crashed out. Not had a happy time. We just got a glimpse there of Nikki Hayden in fourth place, tucked in behind Loris Capirossi. Hayden up the inside of Capirossi, thinks about trying to outbrake him, not able to do so. So Rossi leads, Pedrosa second. When will those painkillers wear off? Loris Capirossi third. Nikki Hayden in fourth place. Sete Gibino in fifth spot, over the start and finish line. Everybody on their feet here at Sepang as they race up the line. Over 300 kilometres an hour. Nikki Hayden trying to hang in there. Danny Pedrosa trying to fight back, but Rossi still leads the way. Capirossi third. Valentino Rossi five.
Both Kawasaki's
Both Kawasaki's into the gravel. Certainly Nakano crashed and I think one ran into the gravel, didn't it, Mark?
Yeah, and Depunier's just come into the pits as well.
So there we are. Cruel up for Kawasaki. Sete Gibino 7, Marco Melandri 8, Kenny Roberts Jr. 9, Colin Edwards in 10th place. Fun and games here. Danny Pedrosa coming under real pressure now from Loris Capirossi. This is an incredible ride by the 20-year-old Spaniard. A hole in his knee that you get a tablespoon in. Oh, a big crash on him for him on Friday afternoon. He's on the painkillers, he's trying to hang in there, and he's still hanging on to second place. But Loris Capirossi is a little worried now that Valentino Rossi is going to get away at the front, as is Nikki Hayden in fourth place.
Now the thing with Pedrosa in second is if he starts to slow up a bit, he could let Rossi get away from everybody as well.
That's the big worry, isn't it? Shinya Nakano we watch once again, crashing out on lap 1 on the Kawasaki. Rossi not really getting away at the moment, round the left. Yellow flag out. I think that's because the Kawasaki's are probably still in the dirt there. Certainly the Kawasaki of Shinya Nakano. We wait for the riders to arrive. 1.5 laps gone of this vital 21-lap race. And still Nikki Hayden in fourth place behind Loris Capirossi. Danny Pedrosa, the brave Spaniard, second, and Valentino Rossi at the front is just starting to open up a bit of an advantage. Now you watch Loris Capirossi, I'm absolutely certain he's going to have a go. We ride with Nikki Hayden, and he wants to take Nikki Hayden with him. Hayden, as they go down the back straight, they're going to break now for the left-hander at the end here. From 6th gear down to 2nd gear. Here comes Hayden thinking about doing it, not able to do so, but Capirossi going up into 2nd place. Capirossi 2nd, Danny Pedrosa relegated to 3rd. Nikki Hayden wants to follow suit as soon as he can. Up the start and finish straight. 1st gear, 2nd gear, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Now Hayden's got to be well placed. Hayden has got to try and get past Pedrosa here. He's not able to do so because Danny Pedrosa, injured or not, is riding very well indeed. Hayden decides to try around the outside. He could be perfectly placed for the left-hander as they go in, but he's not able to get through. Hayden doesn't want these two Italians to get away at the front. Rossi on the Yamaha, Capirossi on the Ducati. Crucial now for Nikki Hayden. He's got to get past Danny Pedrosa. They come up the hill, they break for the right-hander. Not able to do so. Sete Gibino, the fastest lap of the race so far. Sete Gibino a 2:02.672 for the Spaniard. Really important mark for Nikki Hayden to get past Danny Pedrosa.
As soon as possible, and he knows that he's got to keep these mob in touch because Rossi looks like he's just eking out a bit of a lead there, and you've only got to give him a little bit of a lead in. He'll turn that into a big one in a short space of time. 0.4 of a second at the start of that last lap.
Tony Elias 5th, Sete Gimeno 6th, 7th is Casey Stoner, 8th Marco Melandri, 9th Kenny Roberts Jr., 10th Colin Edwards, 11th John Hopkins, 12th Makoto Tamada, 13th Chris Mullen, 14th Carlos Checker, and James Ellison at the moment in 15th place. Marco Melandri right behind Nikki Hayden. Right behind him is a rejuvenated Sete Gimeno. Rossi still leads. Now coming under a little bit of pressure from Loris Capirossi on that Ducati, but these two are getting away.
And you say rejuvenated too. Nick Elias up there in 5th spot.
Contract time for both of them. Very important time, and both of them have been riding injured. So
now,
both of them now fully fit.
Capirossi got that gap down to less than 0.2 of a second within 3 splits. So Rossi is going to come under all sorts of attack from Capirossi.
Capirossi takes the lead on the last turn going into the start and finish straight. Loris Capirossi leads the way, then outbreaks himself, runs in a little bit wide, and Valentino Rossi retakes the lead. But as they go up the start and finish straight, it looks like Loris Capirossi leads the way on the Ducati. Capirossi leads from Rossi. Hayden again having a sniff up the inside of Danny Pedrosa, but not able to get through. Pedrosa 3rd, riding with that injury. Nikki Hayden again runs it a little bit wide and then tries to take the advantage through the left-hander, not able to do so. He's desperate to get past Danny Pedrosa, still he's not able to. And Danny Pedrosa, you've got to say, Mark, is riding a quite incredible race in 3rd place. Adrenaline and painkillers, I would think.
Yeah, you hit that on the head, Nick. Just would be interesting to see how long it does last, because every point will be very vital for him at this stage, and be relying on that as well.
Well, these two Italians, I was listening to an interview with Valentino Rossi on Thursday. They said, who is your best friend in the paddock and your biggest rival? He said, my best friend and my biggest rival is Loris Capirossi. We've been racing 125s, 250s, MotoGP 500 together. He's a great guy and a great rider. Certainly is. Valentino Rossi in 2nd place. Loris Capirossi leads. Danny Pedrosa 3rd. Nikki Hayden 4th. Casey Stoner 6th. Chris Mullen in 13th place at the moment. Under the bridge they come, little short straight, now the left. Nikki Hayden backing out the rear tyre there of that Repsol Honda. But Danny Pedrosa, well, we heard from him, we heard from Alberto Puig, we've heard a lot of opinions about how badly he is injured. There really was doubt on Friday afternoon that if the 20-year-old Spaniard would actually compete in this race, or perhaps at even Phillip Island in Australia. He's doing this one, I'm sure he's going to do Phillip Island.
The pit board he's getting now, Nick says +0 to Hayden, so he knows exactly who's behind his teammate.
Rossi is not letting Capirossi get away. This is going to be a classic battle between the Ducati and the Yamaha and the two Italians. Down the straight they come, Rossi up the inside on the brakes. Is he going to try and take the lead? No, he's not. Capirossi leads, Rossi 2nd. Danny Pedrosa 3rd, Nikki Hayden still in 4th place. Sete Gimeno 5, Casey Stoner 6th, Tony Elias now in 7th place. Up over the start and finish line. 17 laps to go of this 21-lap race. A race that's going to have such a bearing on the outcome of the World Championship. And Rossi hanging onto the rear wheel of that Ducati. There is Casey Stoner coming under a little bit of pressure now from Marco Melandri, but holding in there well. Behind Marco Melandri, Tony Elias, Kenny Roberts Jr., John Hopkins 10. Colin Edwards 11, Chris Mullen in 12th place, Makoto Tamada 13, Carlos Checker 14, James Ellison in 15th place.
Now Capirossi just stretching that lead out by the slightest of margins, 0.4, just under 0.4 of a second at the moment. Now it's up to Hayden. He's got to get in front of Pedrosa to try and chase these guys down, because these points that he's getting away is allowing Rossi about six or 7 points on him at the moment.
Yeah, not a disaster at the moment for Nikki Hayden if Valentino Rossi doesn't win the race, but Valentino Rossi will give it absolutely everything to win this race. And then with Hayden down in 4th place and Valentino Rossi winning the race, it would be a very, very different story. And Rossi's closing up all the time now on Loris Capirossi. Great onboard stuff. Rossi closes up. Is he going to make a move? 16 and a half laps to go, a long, long way, but Capirossi not able to pull away as he did Bruno in the Czech Republic 3 weeks ago. Rossi won't let him go. Rossi knows it's 25 points or nothing if he's going to have any chance of retaining that world title. Nikki Hayden still 4th, the championship leader. Danny Pedrosa 2nd in the championship, 25 points behind Nikki Hayden. In front of him in the race, he's running in 3rd place. Still 4th, Sete Gimeno. Casey Stoner 6th, Marco Melandri 7th, 8th, Tony Elias, 9th, Kenny Roberts, 10th, John Hopkins.
I'm just looking at Hayden too, Nick. I'm wondering if he's kicked his clutch like he did in Bruno, because he just seems to be dropping off. And the clutch set up on Hayden's bike compared to the rest of the Hondas very much different. The clutch right in the middle of the bike, and it gets a lot hotter than what the other Hondas do.
Rossi up the inside there of Capirossi, but not able to take advantage as the big booming Ducati comes off the turn and digs into the tarmac. 310 kilometres an hour up that straight, now braking for the right-hander, second gear. Dani Pedrosa is having a magnificent race in second place. How long can he keep this up? In third place. A remarkable performance by the Spaniard, who's already won 2 Grand Prix this season. He's second in the World Championship. He's got a horrible hole in his right knee. He's got 2 broken toes on his left foot. He's on the painkillers. How long will they last? We don't know, but he is riding quite superbly. How many times have we seen this at the front? Loris Capirossi and Valentino Rossi fighting it out. Ducati versus Yamaha. Italy versus Italy. There we go, just confirmation of those tyre choices. Front slip medium, rear slip medium. Capirossi Bridgestones, Valentino Rossi Michelins.
Yeah, but Rossi going for the harder version, the medium hard compound, compared to Rossi on the Capirossi on the medium.
Rossi not letting Capirossi get away. Pedrosa still hanging in there in third place. Chris Vermeulen now moved up a place to 12th. Casey Stoner doing well to hang on in 6th place between Sete Gibernau and Marco Melandri. This is going to go to the wire. I don't think there's any doubt about this. Capirossi just broke away 3 weeks ago at Bruno. Not able to do it this time. And Rossi is very close indeed. And really, you just wonder how long Dani Pedrosa can hang on in there with that injured right leg. An amazing performance by Pedrosa. And look at Rossi, very, very close indeed. Just a little bit of a wobble, that left foot coming off the footrest. Yeah, we saw it, thanks. I'm sure he did as well. This is the left that brings it back into the start and finish straight. Will the race go all the way to the wire? We decided there, we wait to see. Capirossi crosses the line now, 15 laps to go. His advantage just 0.238 of 1 second. Pedrosa still third. Nikki Hayden fourth. In 5th place, Sete Gibernau. Casey Stoner now up the inside of Sete Gibernau, taking over 5th place. Runs it a little bit wide. Sete Gibernau takes him back, but Casey Stoner has the advantage around the left-hander. Stoner now up into 5th place, the winner of the 250cc race here last year. Casey Stoner means business. He wants to be in tip-top form when he arrives at Phillip Island, as do all these riders, for many different reasons. Rossi under the bridge. Down the hill they plunge, 3rd gear left. Great place to watch MotoGP bikes in action. Rossi looks comfortable in 2nd place at the moment. He's all over the rear wheel of Loris Capirossi. I wonder if he's a little bit worried about Dani Pedrosa. Perhaps if he really, I'm sure he knows it's Dani Pedrosa. He feels also that Pedrosa may just back off the pace a little bit, but Pedrosa's not backing off the pace at all at the moment. And Rossi has taken the lead. Valentino Rossi leads the race. Rossi leads. Capirossi 2nd, Dani Pedrosa 3rd. Rossi may try and go here. A little bit of a rear end wiggle from that Michelin rear tyre, but Rossi's going. Rossi means business. We ride with Capirossi. He looks behind him. Is he letting Rossi go? Rossi is absolutely flying at the front. Dani Pedrosa hanging in there. Nikki Hayden, has he got a clutch problem? He's still in 4th place. That's 13 vital World Championship points. But if Rossi wins the race, this will not be good news for the Kentucky kid.
Well, speaking of bad news for the Kentucky kid, he better look behind him, because Stoner's got in front of Gibber now, and he's starting to close the gap as well.
Dani Pedrosa trying to get up the inside of Loris Capirossi, and Dani Pedrosa up into 2nd place. I really cannot believe this after seeing the accident on Friday afternoon. Dani Pedrosa now up into 2nd place. This is bad news now for Nikki Hayden, because the 2 men that are behind him in the World Championship are 1st and 2nd at the moment. Capirossi relegated to 3rd, thinks about coming back up the inside, not able to do so. Rossi leads, Pedrosa 2nd, Capirossi 3rd, Hayden 4th, Stoner 5, Gibernau in 6th place.
Tension in that Repsol Honda Garrett, or the pit wall a bit tense at the moment. Just trying to talk to either Michael Leitner for Pedrosa and Peter Benson for Hayden. I'm both shaking their heads. So the tension out on the track being equal by the tension here in pit lane.
You're a braver man than I am, Bratsy, because I think the tension is spilling over to the crowd, certainly spilling over to the commentary box. Probably spilling out all over the world. Rossi means business at the front. Pedrosa, a truly extraordinary performance. Will the adrenaline and the painkillers keep the pain away? Will he keep that movement in his right knee after that accident on Friday afternoon? Danny Pedrosa, 125, 250cc world champion, and equally as important, a man that recovered from 2 broken ankles to come back and win the 250cc title. Some people complain he doesn't smile enough. He is a tough, tough cookie, I can assure you, and this ride just concurs on everything we say about him. We ride with Pedrosa, that's Capirossi behind him. And here comes Capirossi once again, can't get around the outside, but putting pressure on Pedrosa. Pedrosa won't like pressure, one would imagine, with that injured right knee. Pedrosa's still in second place. Loris Capirossi fighting back now, trying to retake second place. Nikki Hayden still battling very hard in fourth place. It's Casey Stoner and Sete Gibernau just behind him. He just got a glimpse of them. Down that back straight they come, up comes the Loris Capirossi up the inside, and Loris Capirossi back into second place, and Danny Pedrosa is relegated to third. That's a little bit better news for Nikki Hayden. Hayden ran it very wide, I think. We wait to see the outcome, but it appears Nikki Hayden ran it very wide indeed. They come across the start and finish line now. Hayden still hangs on to fourth place, Casey Stoner fifth, Sete Gibernau sixth, Kenny Roberts in seventh place. Rossi still leads. This will suit him well, that Loris Capirossi and Danny Pedrosa will swap positions as they are at the moment. Casey Stoner, as Mark said, closing all the time on Nikki Hayden. So Nikki Hayden's not only got to have to worry about what is happening at the front, in front of him, 3 riders in front of him, as Danny Pedrosa has a little snip up the inside there of Loris Capirossi. He's also got to worry about behind him, and if he got overtaken by Casey Stoner, Sete Gibernau, that really would be a disaster for Nikki Hayden. It's a big, big moment for the American. The gap between Rossi and Capirossi, 0.6 of a second. Rossi does seem in command at the moment, but perhaps Capirossi was just letting him have a run at the front, and perhaps Danny Pedrosa just caught him a little bit by surprise, coming past him to relegate him back to a third place. But Capirossi is now back into second place, 12.5 laps to go. And Nikki Hayden coming under real pressure now from Casey Stoner and Sete Gibernau. Sete Gibernau and Valentino Rossi don't get on. 2 years ago it all started here at Sepang in Malaysia, but even Valentino Rossi might thank him if he managed to get past Nikki Hayden before the end of the race. And Stoner very close indeed now. This is a tough time for the Kentucky kid. Nikki Hayden's got to remain strong. Stoner closing up all the time. Could it be a clutch problem, Mark?
Well, that's what happened, and that's what Nicky said to me on the line, didn't he? He said, I hope I don't cook the clutch off the line. That's what's been happening. As I said before, it's right in the guts of the engine, and it's got a lot more heat going through what the other Hondas have got, where it's on the traditional right-hand side of the bike.
This is the battle for fourth place. Nikki Hayden still hanging in there. Over the start and finish line they come. Rossi leads the way, 0.7 of a second advantage over Loris Capirossi. Danny Pedrosa a very brave third. Fourth still Nikki Hayden, coming under increasing pressure from Casey Stoner and Sete Gibernau. They tip it into this nasty tight right at the end of the start and finish straight. Then it goes left, and then right again, and at last they can open the throttles and show the full potential of these 990cc 4-stroke monsters. Up the hill, Rossi leads, Capirossi second. Nasty again, not in the same way as the bend at the end of the start and finish straight, but a difficult right-hander. And then they plunge downhill around the left. Third gear on these MotoGP machines. Rossi, Capirossi, Hayden, you can see still just hanging in there in fourth place. Pressure coming from Casey Stoner and Sete Gibernau. The new gap between Rossi and Capirossi has been, it's been reduced, it's been up. It's all about the same, isn't it? 7/8 of a second. Not close enough to get in there and have a go at him, but close enough to keep him in sight. Danny Pedrosa is keeping Loris Capirossi in sight, and that is a truly remarkable performance by the 20-year-old Spaniard.
Another thing too with Hayden, Nick, is the fact that they gave him a new frame this weekend. After they tested it at Bruno, they thought that might have been the answer to it. Pete Benson said to me on Friday afternoon they were having a lot of trouble getting to steer, so maybe that's part of the problem as well, because he's dropping off, and now Stoner is just less than half a second behind him at the moment.
The gap just slightly reduced by Loris Capirossi on Valentino Rossi into this very fast straight, 6th gear, then they bang down through the gearbox, those left knees go out, almost act as a parachute as they brake for the 2nd gear left-hander that brings it back into the start and finish. There's Pedrosa. It appears that Sete Gibernau having a little go up the inside there of Casey Stoner. Let's wait and see the outcome of this one. Pedrosa still in 3rd place. Sete Gibernau, I think, has not got past Casey Stoner as they race up the start and finish straight. No, he hasn't. Rossi and Capirossi, lap 10 and 21, 11 to go. Could this be 25 points for Valentino Rossi? What an important win it would be as he fights to retain his world title. Don't need reminding, he trails Nikki Hayden in the championship by 38 points, but Capirossi certainly is closer this time.
Well, if the situation stays like this, Nicky will be doing the 26 points. Plus.
We have a faller as Tony Elias into the gravel. Tony Elias is in the gravel trying to get the bike out. Elias was running in 9th place. So Tony Elias shouting at the marshals to try and help him get that bike out of the gravel, but not able to do so at the moment. Christopher Newland currently in 12th place. That would move him up to 11th. We ride with Loris Capirossi. This is the back view. If you had a front view, you'd have a big sight of yellow leathers in front of you, as he's right behind Valentino Rossi, and there he is. 10.5 to go. Capirossi now very close indeed. Capirossi chasing his 3rd Grand Prix victory of the season. He won that opening round at Jerez in Spain. Joint leader of the World Championship when they went into the Grand Prix of Catalonia. I think this is Tony Elias. It certainly is. Tony Elias goes down just in front of his teammate Marco Melandri.
Just in front of it.
Marco Melandri perfectly okay. Sorry, Tony Elias perfectly okay. So the double apex right that brings him back into this very fast straight. Capirossi not close enough to try and outbreak Valentino Rossi. There's a glimpse of Danny Pedrosa. And then there's 3 riders together. It's still Nikki Hayden 4, Casey Stoner 5, and Sete Gibernau in 6th place. Up over the start and finish line we ride with Loris Capirossi, about 310 kilometres an hour, then down full throttle. Now you watch, suddenly that throttle will drop right off on the brakes as hard as you can. 2nd gear, closes up on the brakes on Valentino Rossi. Loris Capirossi, it's a long right, and then they flick it left.
Now Stoner making a mistake in that last split, and he's dropping back to Gibernau getting back in front of him.
So Sete Gibernau up into 5th place, Casey Stoner relegated to 6th. And now on the throttle, up the hill, under the bridge. This tricky right-hander at the top here, on the brakes again. Nasty angled bend, and then hard as you can, 3rd gear under the bridge, because it's a fast left-hander coming up on the throttle, and off again. Just feather the throttle a little bit. Super on-board stuff as Loris Capirossi chases after the race leader, Valentino Rossi. 9.5 laps to go. The Malaysian Grand Prix here at Sepang, as good as it ever has been this season. What a championship this is turning out to be. Valentino Rossi is riding a very, very hard race at the front, because Capirossi still not quite close enough to mount a challenge, although he closes up once again. He appears very fast with his section mark on the Ducati, but Rossi seems to get away a little bit through here.
Yeah, I think Loris Capirossi is riding a very smart race at the moment. As you saw, he goes up that hill there. He's got better drive going up the hill. You can't really notice it on the telly here. But, pardon me, Rossi just pulling away a bit now. You see Capirossi close back up again as they come through this left-right section. Then onto this long back, or semi-long back straight too. But Capirossi, I think, just sitting there in the right position at the moment. He's not letting Rossi get away too much. The gap's alternated between 0.2 of a second and 0.4 of a second for the last few laps.
Up over the start and finish line. 10 laps to go. Here they come into that start and finish corner. Perhaps the race will be decided here. That would be an incredible finish if it was. He rides still with Loris Capirossi. That's Valentino Rossi in front of him. Up they come. Break now for the right-hander at the top of the hill, the top of the start and finish straight. It's still Valentino Rossi leading the way. Capirossi just tucked in behind him. Pedrosa's still in third place, Nikki Hayden fourth, Sete Gibernau 5, Casey Stoner in sixth place, Kenny Roberts Jr. 7, John Hopkins 8, Marco Melandri 9, Colin Edwards in 10th place, Chris Vermeulen in 11, Carlos Checker 12, Randy De Punier 13, Makoto Damada 14, and James Ellison still in 15th place. There's Nikki Hayden. The gap between him and Pedrosa, 1.2 seconds, but Pedrosa, we don't need to remind you that Pedrosa really suffering from a badly gouged right knee. He's on painkillers, he's obviously riding with through an awful lot of pain, with adrenaline helping him a great deal, but will that drop off before the end? And perhaps Nikki Hayden might be able to pick up a third place, which would be so important. Without a doubt now Hayden is pulling him back, isn't he?
He is a bit, but I've got Livio Sapo with me from the Ducati team. Livio, Loris riding a very calm, collected race, just sitting there. He's not losing too much to Valentino.
Well, the pace he had this morning was more or less like this, so I think he's in his capability to stay there. Let's see if he has something more for the end.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. You save it till the last bit instead of showing Rossi his cards.
Let's hope like that.
Thank you, Livio.
That's what they hope. Be interesting to see what they said at Yamaha, wouldn't it? They're not going to tell you anything, are they? Down they come to the left again, into the start and finish straight. There'll just be 8 laps to go. Capirossi certainly pretty close this time. He may have a little sniff, may he? We'll wait to see as they go up towards the right-hander at the end of the start and finish straight. We ride with Danny Pedrosa, what is going through his mind. Painful images, one would imagine. He's still in third place. Nikki Hayden still fourth. Sete Gibernau 5. Casey Stoner 6th. Now whatever happens at the front, if Nikki Hayden can get past Danny Pedrosa and pick up a third place, that would do his championship ambition a tremendous amount of good.
Not only that too, Nick, it's a psychological blow to Hayden if Pedrosa finishes in front of him with the injuries he's got.
Under the bridge, up towards the right-hander at the top of the hill. 7 3/4 laps to go. Rossi still leads the way. Capirossi closes up as he always does on that particular corner. Then they go around the third gear left. Helicopter shots here at Sepang. Valentino Rossi now coming under real pressure from Loris Capirossi. Rossi, of course, chasing his 5th Grand Prix victory of the season. So that's going to be interesting indeed. Let's wait and see how that one particularly goes. Capirossi, without a doubt, now is closer than he has been. I think you've called it right, Mark. 7.5 laps to go. But as we know, even if he gets past Valentino Rossi, Rossi will fight back. Rossi will not let him get away. And again, Rossi just opens up a little bit of an advantage to go around this right-hander.
That's about the only place that Rossi seems to be able to make a bit of a gap on Capirossi. And Capirossi will be saving it till the very last moment to make a pass, as I just said with Livio Sapo there, the team manager of the Ducati team, because he wouldn't want to show his cards too early, because we know what Rossi's like.
Into the back straight. Rossi still leads. Capirossi nice and close. Capirossi perhaps not quite close enough to think about outbreaking Rossi. Doesn't want to do it yet. Bide his time. Pedrosa's still in third place. Those painkillers are working very well indeed. Around the left. Rossi keeps it tight. Then up the start and finish straight. The Ducati's got such power up here. 7 laps to go. Classic battle in the Malaysian Grand Prix. Loris Capirossi just sizes up Valentino Rossi and thinks, no, I'm not quite close enough. Pedrosa still holding a near 2-second advantage over Nikki Hayden, and that is one hell of a performance by the youngster. Let's wait and see as the race wears on. Keep saying that, there's only 6.5 laps to go.
I've got Pete Benson with me, Nikki Hayden. Pete, this is the last thing you want to be seeing at the moment. This is the last thing you'd be wanting to see at the moment.
Yeah, it's not quite where we want it to be, but you know, see how it goes. We've got another few laps to go, see what happens.
It's a lot to do with the making setup time for yesterday with having a new frame and everything.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't help. You know, it's been a bit of a problem for us all year trying new stuff all the time, and I don't think it's helped us again this weekend.
And well, I suppose you can just hopefully hang in there and try and get past Pedrosa in the dying stages, but it looks like the gap might be a bit big.
Yeah, it could be, but you never know. Keep hoping.
All right, mate, thanks.
The battle at the front still rages. Capirossi stalking Valentino Rossi. That was Pete Benson not sounding too happy about Nikki Hayden's prospects at the moment. But Rossi holds firm, 6.5 to go. Mark said this is where he seems to pick up the advantage on the Yamaha around this series of right.
Got better drive up the hill too, Nick.
But then the Capirossi seems to close as they come around this particular part and get very close, which is important to be. This is the double apex right that brings them back into the back straight, the straight that leads onto the start and finish straight. And he's not quite close enough this time, is he? Because he won't be able to outbrake Valentino Rossi. Will he leave it this late? I just really don't know.
Well, I know that Rossi's got the medium front and medium hard on the rear. What has Capirossi got with the Bridgestones, Nick? This is going to play an important part in it as the race unfolds.
That's absolutely right. As he says, frantically looking for his tyre choice chart. Bridgestones, here we go. Loris Capirossi is using a medium compound front, 16.5 size slick tyre, and a medium compound rear, 16.5 slick.
And Capirossi closing right up then on the brakes. It's just this one part of the track that Rossi seems to be able to get away from him.
It could all go down to that very last bend, although I get the feeling Loris Capirossi taking the lead. Loris Capirossi leads away, then runs it wide, and Valentino Rossi retakes the lead. Oh, what a race. Oh.
Yeah,
they come up under the bridge, round the right-hander, 5 3/4 laps to go. The fun and games are starting, Mark.
Well, that's where they're calling. Oh, I think Capirossi goes again as they go through this double section coming up at the back of the track. But Rossi back in front. But we said in the 250 race, that's where Dovizioso and D'Angelo's had that little bit of a run-in. We're going up that hill. If you're coming too tight, you've got to really turn it because it's such a tight corner and you can easily run it wide as Capirossi did just then.
Little short straight, and then this first gear left-hander. Rossi still leads the way from Loris Capirossi. 5.5 laps to go. And then round this nasty right-hand, 2 right-handers really, coming up to a little short straight. Rossi's quick through here, but then it's from here that Loris Capirossi seems to reel in the advantage. It's round the left, and then this long, difficult right-hander that brings them back into the back straight. But Capirossi's certainly not close enough this time. Fun and games here. Capirossi takes the lead, but then runs it wide, and Valentino Rossi for the second time in this lap says thank you very much, I'm back in front. They can't believe it. Back in the Camel Yamaha pit, we can't believe it in the commentary box. I hope you're enjoying this at home. This is absolute classic racing between the two of the greatest MotoGP stars we've seen for a long, long time. And there's a lad in third place. We just got a glimpse of him then. He was having a remarkable ride into third place with 16 World Championship points. That is absolutely crucial. Here he comes once again, Loris Capirossi. Capirossi retakes the lead as they break into the right-hander at the end of the start and finish straight. As he run it wide once again, he has. And Valentino Rossi is back in front. Deja vu. Loris Capirossi does it again. Formula One, eat your hearts out. They've overtaken each other more times in one bend. But Loris Capirossi, importantly, leads the way as they race back up the hill. Rossi's going to have another go up the inside. He's close enough. Oh, Capirossi leaves his braking very late indeed. Rossi hopes it's going to run it wide, but he hasn't. But, oh, Valentino Rossi thought about it, decided that Capirossi was getting in there a little bit too hot. Right now, the cards are in the hand of Valentino Rossi because Loris Capirossi leads the way with 4.5 laps to go. The classic confrontation between two of the world's greatest motorcycle riders. World champions in 125, 250, and in Valentino Rossi's case, MotoGP and 500cc. It doesn't get better than this. A world championship, but not at stake, but some important points at stake as Rossi thinks about going up the inside, decides not to. Capirossi still holds the advantage. There's still over 4 laps to go. They're racing like they're back on those 125s all those years ago. Gap between Rossi and Pedrosa, 1.3 seconds, so no need for Rossi to worry about that one. What a ride by Danny Pedrosa. There he is. I just cannot believe he's done this. He caught me by surprise at the start. I couldn't believe he'd got off the line so quickly from the second row of the grid. But here comes Rossi. He's trying to go around the outside, then he's going to cut back on the inside of Capirossi. Capirossi holds firm, but this is a good place for Rossi to be. He's very, very tight indeed. Down the back straight they come. Over 300 kilometres an hour. Rossi may think about coming out of the slipstream on the brakes. He is. Here he goes. He's not close enough. Great on board. We ride with Valentino Rossi. A twitch from Loris Capirossi. And Rossi wants to keep it tight. He has kept it tight. Over the start and finish line they go. 4 laps to go with this magnificent Malaysian Grand Prix here at Sepang. They've not seen a better race here in Malaysia. Capirossi now just a big enough advantage to get into that corner a little bit more, not relieved, but just feeling that he's perhaps opening up the advantage. Capirossi's going for it. Capirossi is now going to try and break Valentino Rossi. 4 laps to go. Can he do it? It does appear that he might be able to do just that. Up the hill. This is where Capirossi momentarily took the lead 2 laps ago and then missed out. We ride with Danny Pedrosa, who's just got a glimpse there of a Valentino Rossi and Loris Capirossi in front of him. Don't write off the doctor yet. 3.5 laps to go. He's going to come back and have another go. Danny Pedrosa, where has this come from? 20 years old. He's in 3rd place. Nikki Hayden now looking comfortable in 4th place, so it's not the end of the world. The situation remains the same as it is now for the American Nikki Hayden. What he doesn't want to happen is Valentino Rossi to take the lead. Valentino Rossi desperately wants to take the lead, and he is closing up once again. There we go, 2:14, 1:92. 22 points it would be, 31 between him and Valentino Rossi. Not the end of the world would it be for Nikki Hayden. It wouldn't be so good though, would it, if Valentino Rossi won the race. But Hayden's racking in the points. That is very, very important indeed. Here comes Rossi. He's coming back to have another go. He wants to get out of here really fast so he can get right on the rear wheel of the Ducati as they get up into 6th gear. Not just yet. 4th, 5th, 6th gear about now. He's not close enough. Or is he? He's going to get up the inside, shorten on the brakes from here. No. He might do that on the last lap. There'll be 3 laps to go as they negotiate the left-hander that brings them back into the start and finish straight here in this magnificent Sepang circuit. 3.447 miles, 5.548 kilometres over the start and finish line. 3 laps to go. Capirossi holds the advantage by nearly half a second. Has he broken Valentino Rossi? No, I'm sure he hasn't. Danny Pedrosa is still a very brave 3rd, and Nikki Hayden doing all right in 4th place. That won't be the end of the world as far as his World Championship aspirations go. Sete Shibano 5, Casey Stoner 6, John Hopkins 7, Kenny Roberts Jr. 8, Marco Melandri 9, Colin Edwards 10, Chris Vermeulen in 11th place.
And I think Casey Stoner just got relegated by John Hopkins at the end of the straight. John Hopkins really beat him under the brakes.
At the front, Rossi has not let Capirossi go. He's going to have at least one more go against the Ducati. They plunge downhill. 3rd gear left-hander. 3.5 laps now to go. 21 laps. Magnificent Malaysian Grand Prix. Round 13 of the championship. And Rossi's close. Rossi's very close indeed. Any thought we had, perhaps, I don't think Loris Capirossi would have had them, but he got away. We ride with Valentino Rossi. Is he close enough as they go into the left? Is he going to get at the left? Will Capirossi come back through? Oh, Rossi absolutely slides the rear wheel on the Yamaha and cuts a nice tight line, but he's not quite close enough. Capirossi just holds firm. 2.25 laps to go. This Malaysian Grand Prix. The gladiators fight it out in the arena. It doesn't get better, and Rossi back in front. Oh, Valentino Rossi is back in front. They go wild on the grandstand in front of me. Rossi again leads the way. It will be tough. It will be hard, but it will be fair between these two. Toughest men you'd ever wish to meet. Down the back straight, momentarily into 6th gear. Now you watch that left knee of Loris Capirossi go out. He's going to try and, no, he's not close enough to try and outbrake Valentino Rossi. Danny Pedrosa is holding in there with them all the way. Amazing performance. Up through the start and finish. 2 laps to go. What a race. Phillip Island in Australia. Get ready for this. And here comes Loris Capirossi once again. He's going to outbrake Rossi into the right-hander. He's done it. Capirossi back in front. Rossi relegated to 2nd place. And he's running wide. Valentino Rossi is back in front. Valentino Rossi still leads the way. Capirossi holds the advantage. He's back in front. Oh, they're swiping all the time. You blink, it changes. Rossi closes up once again. They go up the hill, under the bridge, coming up to the right-hander. Mark, where will one want to be in this race coming into the last lap?
I think I'd like to be not where Rossi is.
500 yards at the front, I think.
Yeah, because Capirossi's there, but I think Rossi's going to come back with an answer no matter where it happens. It's like waiting for the inevitable to happen, isn't it?
What a fabulous race. Round the left, round the right. 1.5 to go. The rain has stayed off, thank goodness for that. My God, that would have ruined such a great race. And Rossi again takes the lead. Rossi up the inside. Capirossi, though, back in front. They're absolutely side by side. It's Capirossi that holds the advantage. Mark, I think there's been more overtaking in one lap than Formula One throughout the whole season.
You're right there, Nick. This has just been simply amazing. And just between these two protagonists, good mates off the track, but vicious rivals on the track. And this is just showing how fast and how close and how well they can race together.
Capirossi still leads. 1 1/4 laps left of this 21-lap Malaysian Grand Prix. Rossi's so close, though. He knows he's close enough. Without a doubt, Valentino Rossi will lead this race for at least one more time, probably about 10 more times, and we still won't know who's going to win it. Here they come, into the back straight. Rossi very close. Now, will he come out of the slipstream and try and take Loris Capirossi? Pedrosa's still hanging there in third place. Here comes Rossi on the brakes. Not close enough, I don't think. No, Capirossi still leads the way. Rossi hoping he might just make a slip and run it a little bit wide. Rossi's coming very tight indeed. Capirossi doesn't make a slip. 1 lap to go with this amazing Malaysian Grand Prix. 3.447 miles, 5.548 kilometres. Who's going to take the checkered flag? Capirossi leads. Probably a bigger advantage into turn 1 than we've seen for a little while.
That's the biggest step that Capirossi taking, just 0.6 of a second over Rossi. Can he hang on to it?
Capirossi trying to break away. Is Rossi going to settle for second? Of course he's not. But Loris Capirossi chasing his second successive Grand Prix win and his second successive win here at Sepang, and I think he may do it. I think Valentino Rossi may not get close enough. How many times have we said that and been proved wrong? I would say. He's closing up on him again. He's going to have one more go. There's 3/4 of a lap to go. Can Valentino Rossi do it? Danny Pedrosa still in third place. Nikki Hayden 4. Sepang Gibernau 5. Don Hopkins 6. Kenny Roberts 7. Casey Stoner 8. Marco Melandri 9. Colin Edwards 10. And Chris Vermeulen in 11th place. All eyes now on the race at the front. Who is going to be on the front step of the podium? Rossi tries to retake the lead. Oh, they almost touch, but Rossi leads the way. The crowd are going absolutely ballistic. They touch knees, I think, but Rossi now leads the way. But does he want to be leading going into that last corner? I don't know. Half a lap to go. Valentino Rossi leads the Malaysian Grand Prix. Loris Capirossi is going to come back at him once more. Yamaha versus Ducati. Italy versus Italy. World champion versus world champion. The double right that brings them back into the start and finish. Well, this is the back straight now. Capirossi, you've got one bend to do it. Is he close enough? I don't think he is. I think Valentino Rossi is going to do it. Valentino Rossi goes up the inside. Loris Capirossi goes down the outside. Rossi's going to block his way. Rossi doesn't want to try to outbreak him. But now Capirossi's going to pull across and try to go up the inside. I don't think he's close enough. I think Ducati got the run to do it. He tries to run around the outside. Oh, he's running wide. Valentino Rossi is going to win the Malaysian Grand Prix. Valentino Rossi wins here in Malaysia. Loris Capirossi in second place. Danny Pedrosa in third spot. Nikki Hayden hangs on to that World Championship lead in fourth place. A win for Rossi, but surely the biggest victory for MotoGP. What a race! And what do when they look at each other? They give the thumbs up. Great friends off the track. Absolute rivals to the limit off the track. But when he goes past him, Loris Capirossi, he gives Valentino Rossi a thumbs up. The race will probably take away the performance of this man. Danny Pedrosa, you can see now, it's all gone. All the adrenaline, all the painkillers. He's suffering very, very badly indeed.
Now, I've got Michael Leitner with me, Nick, team manager for Danny Pedrosa. Michael, an amazing ride. Did you think he could do it like that?
No way, no. I was thinking he cannot finish the race, so unbelievable. I don't know how he did, but he's a very special person.
Oh, and it maybe give a blow to Nikki Hayden riding injured like that, and Nikki had no answer.
I don't know. I have to ask him how he did. I don't know.
All right, congratulations.
What a ride by Danny Pedrosa. Michael Leitner doesn't know. We don't know. I don't know if the doctors know. But Loris Capirossi, that's what he got to do. He gave it all. But in the end, it wasn't enough to beat the 7 times world champion who secures his 5th Grand Prix victory of the season and closes the gap on Nikki Hayden at the front. The Rossi fan club, they're here, of course. What are they going to give him space? They're going to give him a number 46 flag. I don't know if there's anything else. He is a world champion wherever he goes. We have seen the very, very best, probably from the best motorcycle rider the world has ever witnessed. Phillip Island in Australia, just buy those tickets and get down there, because you are going to see a genius in action. We enjoyed that, Mark, didn't we?
Just slightly, Nick. Now that's taken it down to 29 points. He's behind at the moment, so this is really hotting up. I think Danny Pedrosa's closed the gap to 22, but with that win for Rossi, it's 25 points for Rossi and only 13 for Nikki Hayden. So 12 points he's taken off him in that gap, so it's 26 points.
4 rounds to go. Oh, Loris Capirossi, you played a bigger part in that race as did Valentino Rossi. You'll be disappointed at losing, but the thumbs up he gave to Valentino Rossi at the end said it all, didn't it?
Yeah, they are good mates, like as we said, off the track, and just shows you how close they can race. But Capirossi had probably only got himself to blame, out breaking himself in that last corner.
But really, what else could he do? Valentino Rossi had come right up the inside, hadn't he? He made his intention so clear that he wasn't going to let him through. Loris Capirossi celebrates with his wife Ingrid. His manager Carlo Pernatto just flew in this morning after losing his mother last week. Danny Pedrosa, just look at this. I don't think we need to speak. You see, you don't win world championships, you don't win Grand Prix, 125s and 250s and MotoGP races unless you're a very, very brave man. Danny Pedrosa is a very, very brave man. 20 years old, got a better record than this man in 125s and 250s. Nikki Hayden, I think that look said it all. You hang in there, Nikki, you're still leading the world championship. Pete Benson, who we spoke to during the race, just gives him a pat on the back. Keep calm. But when this man is on the move, he is an unstoppable object. Alberto Puig, Danny Pedrosa's mentor, with him. Oh. Here he comes. He bows to the crowd. He bows to millions of television viewers throughout the world. Mr. MotoGP. What a world champion. What a race. And what a ride by a genius. And that's what it's all about. Loris Capirossi. Valentino Rossi. You see that in many other sports after a race? No, you don't. Utter respect for each other. Riding to the limit. Absolutely trust. And also, they collided with each other, 1.5 laps ago. No recriminations, just a straight battle. Even the doctor's exhausted. Who can blame him? Thank you, Valentino Rossi. Thank you, Loris Capirossi, because I tell you, it doesn't get a lot better than that.
Well, Nick, I've just come down and Nikki Hayden's pit. He won't talk to me. I asked him that, but he's just absolutely devastated, looking at the screen forlornly as though the camera's focused on Park Ferme, shaking his head as if to say I gave him my best, but I'm just not real happy with the way things are working out. I know he's not happy with the way that they've been making him test parts this late in the season when he wants to try and defend his championship lead, considering how hard it was to get the bike up to speed when they got the bike earlier on in the year.
Poor old Nikki Hayden. There's 2 more races in the next week, well, the next 2 weeks, and it's so important that he keeps mentally strong. The pressure's on him, but he's still leading the World Championship. But this will be remembered, I think, for 2 reasons. The absolute classic confrontation. There's Capirossi. He wants to try to it, but he knows now he's run it wide, and Valentino Rossi's going to win the race. A classic confrontation. We watch it from the angle of Valentino Rossi now. Rossi and Capirossi, and the bravery and utter determination of Danny Pedrosa. Even Valentino Rossi looked a bit hot and bothered, didn't he? No wonder after that race.
Well, speaking of that, Casey Stoner is basically distraught with the heat exhaustion he's had. He can hardly move. It looks like he's been cramping up rather severely on the bike.
Yeah, I think we forget, certainly I do, sitting up here, don't know my commentary box, Mark, just how hot it is and the effort required to race at that level, at that pace. Even Valentino Rossi had to sit it out for a minute down in Parc Ferme. Confirmation, Rossi wins from Capirossi. The gap 0.849, just under 1 second. Was a lot closer than that really, only because Capirossi ran it wide. Danny Pedrosa third, Nikki Hayden fourth, Sete Gibernau very good fifth. Great result, John Hopkins sixth, Kenny Roberts seventh, Casey Stoner absolutely exhausted in 8th place. Marco Melandri 9, Colin Edwards 10, Chris Vermeulen 11, Carlos Checa 12, Randy De Prunier 13, Koto Tamada 14, Alex Hoffman 15, James Ellison, Jose Luis Cardoso out of the points. This is the important one. Hayden 214, Pedrosa 192, 22 points. Valentino Rossi 188, 26 points behind Nikki Hayden. He's pulled 12 back this afternoon. Rossi on the charge, Hayden under pressure. Phillip Island next week, Motegi the week after. Italian television and the rest of the world wanted to speak, of course, to Valentino Rossi. Danny Pedrosa just composing himself. That is a truly staggering performance. And I think even the Yamaha guys went across and said, well done. And there was some applause for him when he came into Parc Ferme. There was Alberto Puig. Gain taps him on the shoulder.
Nick, I've got Casey Stoner with me. Casey, you look absolutely exhausted.
Yeah, I'm not feeling the best, to tell you the truth. I mean, my fitness definitely ain't the best, but about half race distance, so I got a bit of a twinge in my back, and I couldn't really sit my ass off the seat, so changing direction and going in under brakes was just murder. So, yeah, from about that point on, I was pretty much buggered, to tell you the truth.
Just hanging on. Hopefully the finish was a bit quicker than it was.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I gave it some in the last lap again, but just wasn't enough, and we didn't have enough rear tyres. So, I mean, I'm happy with the way the bike was. It was working well enough to stick up with the podium. It was just me and my problems today.
Well, I've noticed your weekend suffering from a bit of cramp. Us on the outside don't really realise how much this heat must take out of you riding these 270 horsepower bikes.
Yeah, I haven't been feeling the best this weekend, and haven't felt full of energy. But the cramps did plague me for a bit, but we got rid of them yesterday and didn't have too many problems with them in the race today. So, I mean, the other problems were Sebastian and pretty much just me.
Well, I don't think that Phillip Island will have to worry about the heat anyway.
No, not too bad. I mean, it can occasionally throw you off balance a bit, but yeah, normally it's pretty good temperature there.
All right, well done, mate.
Thank you.
Casey Stoner, brave 8th place for the Australian. We're looking at the highlights. I just think anybody who has to pick the highlights for this race is going to probably have about an hour-long film. How many times did they switch positions in one lap, in one bend? Here we go. This is what it is. Just superb stuff between Rossi and Capirossi. Grand Prix racing, 4 wheels, 2 wheels, 3 wheels, whatever you want, at its absolute best. Two of the toughest, hardest opponents. Oh, look at Ingrid. That's Loris Capirossi's wife. You can't watch, they touch. But at the end of the race, it was thumbs up, and at the end of the race, when they got back to Parc Ferme, as Loris Capirossi runs it wide on the very last corner, and Valentino Rossi wins the race. It was a shake of a hand and an arm around each other. Danny Pedrosa, third, an incredible performance by the young Spaniard. minutes, 07.829, the time of Valentino Rossi's victory. Podium beckons. This place is going to go absolutely crazy. A crowd of over 40,000 this afternoon. The Italian flags proudly from the top tier of the grandstand opposite the pits. I think I said at the end of the race, Mark, it was a win for Valentino Rossi. Great bravery by Danny Pedrosa. It was MotoGP that was a winner, wasn't it?
It certainly was, and the race is just, we've been saying it all year, it might sound like a bit of a cliche, but whether there's 4 bikes involved or just 2, this racing this year has just been absolutely sensational.
Sometimes a race between 2 riders is more exciting than a battle between loads, isn't it?
Well,
because it's just it's the head-to-head confrontation.
Well, when they're swapping the lead 4 times in as many corners,
They won't bend.
you hit it on the head. There's probably more passing manoeuvres in one lap than there has been in the whole of Formula 1 this year. So it just shows you what this sport is. And when they're out there and they're bashing fairings, bashing knees at that speed, and you just got to take your hat off to them. And then to see the likes of Casey Stoner come in and just absolutely exhausted of trying to muscle the bikes around these conditions, in what we've been saying, it's 70 odd degrees humidity and 30 odd degrees heat. We sit on the outside and don't realise how hard it really is.
And also you see that Ducati mechanics shaking hands with Valentino Rossi before he goes up onto the podium. Hey, we're not naive, it doesn't always happen behind the scenes, it can be pretty tough and rough, but respect, I think, is what it's all about, and everybody at this level has enormous respect for each other.
Well, when you can race that close and that fast and still have a grin at the end, it says something. And it's a bit of a contrast compared to what we saw in the 250 race, where a couple of riders got off the bike and didn't even want to look at each other.
Dani Pedrosa having to sit it out at the moment. He's going to be helped onto the victory podium. I don't think there's any doubt about that. What a ride. Friday afternoon. An horrendous accident for the 20-year-old Spaniard. Took an enormous gouge out of his right knee.
Rossi might have won the race, Nick, but to me, that ride of the day is Dani Pedrosa.
I tend to agree with you. I think Rossi will probably take the headlines, but it's Pedrosa that has just been... Quite honestly, when I watched him in the morning warm-up and I watched him in yesterday morning's practice, I was thinking he's not going to score any World Championship points.
Well, I was with you on that one, and then seeing him walk into the medical centre this morning where he couldn't bend his right leg. It's amazing what a few painkillers can do to you, that's for sure.
Rossi's going to take a chair onto the podium, he's decided, because he's a bit weary.
Ladies and gentlemen, prize presentation ceremony of the Marlboro Malaysian Motorcycle Grand Prix, the MotoGP.
Dani Pedrosa just about to limp his way onto the podium in 3rd place. Valentino Rossi, I think he's drunk about 20 bottles of water since he's finished the race. These people come a long way to see him in action. My golly, he has not disappointed them. Valentino Rossi onto the podium. He's brought the chair with him. Yeah, he's decided he's... Oh, Loris Capirossi's going to sit on his lap. What a race, what a performance, and what a podium.
I think Dani Pedrosa just gained a heap of respect this afternoon from his fellow riders.
Yeah, I do as well.
Goes to Dani Pedrosa.
Dani Pedrosa, 3rd place. You just would never have believed. I would not have believed that at the start of this race. An absolutely astounding performance by the young Spaniard. Holds on to 2nd place in the World Championship, 22 points now behind Nikki Hayden. 2nd place, he gave it absolutely his all. It's Loris Capirossi, but the winner of the Malaysian Grand Prix here at Sepang, it's Valentino Rossi. Team prize goes to Davide Brivio, team manager. But for the first time this afternoon, we have the Italian national anthem.
For the national anthem of Italy. Terima kasih Dato' Sri Utama Haji Muhammad. Thank you very much, sir. And Now the champagne shower for the winners. Congratulations.
Champagne time then for Valentino Rossi, Loris Capirossi, poor old Danny Pedrosa, who can't even move to get away to the way of the champagne. I think mercifully Rossi and Capirossi decide that it's not really fair to spray him with champagne, as there's no way to get out of the way. Danny Pedrosa, I would think that's about the biggest reward of champagne you could possibly have. Friday afternoon, that horrendous accident. He's finished third in the race here. But Valentino Rossi is on trail now of Nikki Hayden in that World Championship battle.